Welcome everyone back to the Red Corner. I'm your host, Leanne. Hello. Okay, so this was my August TBR here, and we're gonna go over it in just a minute. So yeah, before we get to that, pull up a seat if you are new here. Sit down and let's go over what my August TBR was, and what some of my thoughts are on it before you see the reviews form, and picking out my September TBR. And if you've been here before, well, you know the drill. Let's hop into it. The Tommyknockers. They knocked me over. It was a chore, no, not chore, a struggle. A struggle to get through this book. It set me back a lot, and I gotta say, even though I did enjoy it, Stephen King needs to sit there and reduce sometimes his setup of characters. Sometimes there's a lot of details you don't need in a book, and he puts a lot of details that you don't need in a book. So there's that. I enjoyed it though. Honestly, from what I remember of the movie, I think it was not exactly like the movie, but still enjoyable. Not your typical sci-fi that you think it is. It was still enjoyable. I liked the way he does it. Like part one of the book, which is a lot, was about the two main characters that are the most important ones, and then the second part of the book was about the town where it all took place, and then the third part was actually about the Tommyknockers. So it gets really in there to the nitty-gritty of everyday life. So I liked it. Just a little less detail of the nitty-gritty of life would be nice. Dean Koontz, the husband, surprised me in ways I didn't think possible. It was interesting with a twist. A couple twists. And so, you like murder mystery with some thriller in it, I'd recommend reading this. It's really good, and it's got a good twist in it. I enjoyed the twist. Pendragon, Book 1, The Merchant of Death by D.J. McHale. Through this doorway, an epic adventure begins. I forgot how weird these books are. They're set up in a journal-like format, but at the same time they're not. So the journal format in this is first person. And then the other format, which is just third person POV, is basically what's happening back on his Earth. So he goes to a different world, and he gets a little off-put. So he sends these journals back to Earth where his friend is, and this is how you learn about his story, because he's writing a journal and the people on Earth are reading it. So it's a little weird that it's also first person and third person POV. It's one of a kind in my book, because I don't think I've ever seen another book do this before, at least none that I have, or that I know I have. There could be plenty of books up here that have that in it, and I don't know it because I haven't actually cracked some of them open to read, but this one, I forgot how weird it was like in that. But it was still good. I still enjoyed it. Took me a little bit to get through it, not because it's, you know, thick, but because since the Tommyknockers knocked me back, it took me like 2 weeks to read it, and I had not a lot of time to read the rest of them, and I was a little on the, I'm never going to get this done, I'm never going to read this, it's never going to get read in time. So I don't like feeling rushed about things, and it made me feel a little rushed reading it, but I got through it. I finished it with about a week left to go, But I did it. This book, I didn't actually start it until Thursday, and I read a few pages, and then Friday I read a few pages, but I read it the majority of Saturday, which is today, and it's the 31st of August, so I really just got done this one. But it was a shocker. There was a lot of twists in this. Oh my god. FCE. There's a lot of twists in The Rise of Kyoshi. A lot of twists that I didn't see happening. And all of it is approved of by the Avatar co-creator Michael Dante DiMartino. He approved of all of it because he read it. And he collaborated with her on some of the things, like, this is what the scenarios I've got for you that can happen, and you just go with it and write it. And how she developed as a warrior with fans, and the way she developed, it blew my mind. And I can't wait to pick up the next one, if and when I drop it in my TBR. Now this one. I did not read it. The Confessions of Noah Weber by Gail Harivan. And I have read it before. You can tell by the pins in it. And I've honestly don't think I enjoyed it, if I'm remembering that right. And I'm not sure if I really want to go back through and read it again. Because I don't even have a lot of... I'm looking through this and back in my college days when I was underlining stuff because I didn't have highlighters and stuff. I don't see a lot of highlights in it, so I guess it didn't really impact me in a way that, like Betty from Boston, question mark. Yeah, so there's just not a lot going on in here that I thought was something I should do. So instead of putting it back in my TBR and repulling it later, I'm just going to sit there and say that I'm not going to enjoy this, and I'm going to DNF it completely and utterly. So there's that. I'm just going to DNF it and unhaul it. Because I like that it's a translation work, but at the same time I'm just not, I'm not into the aspect of what it's about. It doesn't sound interesting, and I don't think I enjoyed it reading it the first time around. I think I just read it because I needed to, and I had to, and all that. So there's that. So with that, I gotta say on point that this was a 5-star read. I want to say this is about a 4, 4.5, and no ratings because I didn't read it. So that's my TBR for August and how I felt in it and all that stuff. Just gonna put this stuff back here. Alright, with that being said, it is time for the haru. How many months does September have? You know, I don't know. 4. So I'm going to draw 4 again and a 5th one extra. Now, since it's only 4 weeks in it, which is about the same as August, I'm going to say that depending on whether or not I draw a thick book, if I draw a thick book, I'm going to do 3 books and then 1 being an extra. If not, it's going to be 4 books with an extra and see what I do. I've also started doing, which I don't know if you can see, turning books around that I have, that I'm going to, unhaul. So that way I know which books I'm getting rid of, and slowly you might see them happening in the back. Now, so since I'm doing 4, we're going to do the 4 points. So, first point here in the front, Oh, ho, ho. This one is Mr. Murder by Dean Koontz. So I'm going to read another Dean Koontz book. Okay. Oh, Harry from a cat. Okay, so Dean Koontz, Mr. Murder. I believe this is the one I read. It's because I had this for a while and I read it already. So we're going to reread it and see if it's as good as I remember it to be or if it's not. So this is book number 1. Book number 1. And it's a little thick, so we'll see. If we got 2 thick ones, then we'll have to reduce it down because I don't really think I'm going to be able to do 2 thick. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes in that way. So the next one we're going to do on this side. Okay. So with that, we have Birth of a Killer. Another Darren Shaw book. Sean, not Shaw. Another Darren Shawn book. The Saga of Larton Crepsley. The first kill is the hardest. So this is about vampires. I'll give you that too. This is actually the prequel to the Saga of Darren Shawn, which is a Crypto Freak series. Saga of Larton Crepsley. Birth of a Killer. This is actually about Larton Crepsley and how he came to be a vampire and all that lovely stuff. At least I think so. I'm not sure. It's actually quite small, so I'll probably get through it pretty quick. Like, yeah, 253 pages. Yeah, that's going to be quick. So we'll see. One thick, one thin. One thick, one thin. We'll see how it goes. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. 2. This is interesting. Another Darren Shaw book. And this one I've actually wanted to read for a while. But I haven't had a chance to read it yet. So, yay for that. Okay, folks. Next book. On this side. What is this? Jackson Rule by Dina McCall. Jackson Rule by Dina McCall. This book is a little beaten up because these things here, they're so hard. That's why I don't like them. I mean, that's kind of how, but I don't really like these things. How they go. This is a romance. Sometimes love can forgive all sins. It's its own little thing. It's standalone, and I have read it before. I read this a long time ago, so I actually don't recall what it's about or how I liked it, but we'll see. I think it's just a normal romance. It has nothing in it besides normal romance. A guy and a girl falling in love. Not my normal type of romance, but I read a long time ago and I've had it for a while, so I'm not surprised that it's still there. That's 3, and this is actually relatively small too, so I think we'll pull a 4th book. Now, if the 4th book becomes to be a thick boy, we're going to put it back and hopefully draw one that's not thick because I've got to get through these in 3 weeks. And then I'll only have a week left, so we don't want anything relatively too arduous. We'll see. Oh no, we can't do colored yet. As much as I would love to do color, I still only have 2 colors in here. my yellow, and my orange. So as much as I would love to do colors, well, I can't yet. I gotta wait until third color is added. So there's that. I can do this. How to Train Your Dragon by Cressida. Oh yeah, Cressida Cowell. This is one with a poster in it. Trust me, if you try ignoring this particular dragon, it will eat you. So this is actually the book based, that's How to Train Your Dragon is based off from the movies, the 3 of them. And the How to Train Your Dragons TV shows, you know, Bark Riders of the thing and everything. Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III was an awesome swords fighter, a dragon whisperer, and the greatest Viking hero who ever lived. The Hiccup memoirs look back to when he was a very ordinary boy who found it hard to be a hero. You don't have to read the Hiccup memoirs in order, but if you want to, this is the right order. So it gives you an order. And then it says, warning, any relationship to any historical fact whatsoever is entirely coincidental, so you have been warned. And it's written like that. I think this book is the special edition, which comes with more than normal stuff, I believe. Hardly Ever Grateful. Yeah, so the back end is actually got several little books in it. So you got like all the things, How to Train Your Viking in the back, and The Day of the Dreader in it. I think there might be even more. Let me see. No, that looks like to be it. So, we're gonna read it. Yay! The inspirations for How to Train Your Dragon. So, there we go. And it's thicker because it's got 2 extra books in it, which I'll read. And they're their own little things, because do I want to read them and add them to the same video, or do I want to read them and add them to different videos, or do I just not want to read them until I draw them? Because this one was for the second book. This is an outline for the second book, so it's a special edition. Technically, it came out for How to Train Your Dragon 2. So, yeah. We'll see. I don't know if I'll read the other 2 or not in the back. I might just sit there and say, yeah, I've got, I'll read them separate. But you might actually do, because then that just prolongs reading it. So, that's what we're going to do. Those are my draws, my picks for September. Haru has done his job. And the best part is that out of these, I'm going to be able to add 2 more yellow strips of paper. Because these 2 are prequels. I mean, first books in a series. So, first book and a first book. So, we'll be able to add the second books in. And even though these 2 are standalone, it's okay. I'll live with that. Standalones. Yay! Get them out of the way too, you know? Because I still have a bunch of standalones, and I still have a bunch of series that I need to start reading and get into and draw. So, the more someones I get out of the way, the more chances that I'll draw the first books in a series, the more chances I'll be able to add more paperwork into my Haru so I can start reading series. That will be all for this video. If you think I deserve a like, comment, or even your lovely subscription, drop it down below. I will see you next illusion.